The college football playoffs have been released, and we got a lot of interesting storylines. Jalen Hurts is in the playoffs. Alabama isn't. Justin Fields is in the playoffs. Georgia isn't. Clemson is in the playoffs. Kelly Bryant isn't. And Joe Burrow is in the playoffs. And Ohio State... Wait a minute. See what I did there. But anyways, back to the main storyline. New rankings, new playoff team. For the first time ever, LSU is in the playoffs. Everyone talks about how they want a new playoff team. There's your new playoff team, LSU. But the rankings, LSU 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Oklahoma 4. LSU to play Oklahoma, Ohio State to play Clemson. For the first time, I don't know if it's ever in the playoff history, but I think I can say they got it right. All right, people will argue Ohio State should have been 1. I disagree with that. I think LSU was deserving of number 1. Especially after what they did to Georgia yesterday. I do believe Georgia was overrated, but LSU just demolished them. 37-10. They just, oh my gosh. I mean, on both sides of the ball, they only allowed 10 points to Georgia. They went off. Joe Burrow went off again. He had like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had himself a game, 349 yards, 4 touchdowns. Georgia altogether, I couldn't even tell you, had 286 yards. LSU had 481. So, good game overall for LSU, to say the least. Ohio State, though, they got scared in the first half. Their fans were getting a little nervous. Don't you lie to me, Ohio State fans. You were a little bit nervous. But they were down at half, 21-7. Like, Wisconsin came out of the gate, and they were just like, they were beating up on Ohio State. It was 14-0. Then Ohio State went down, scored late in the half, and then Wisconsin rattled off a couple big plays at the end of the half to go down and score a touchdown, put them up 21-7, and then Ohio State scored 27 unanswered in the second half to beat Wisconsin for the Big Ten. Yeah, it was just like that. I mean, going back through it, yeah, they scored 10 points in literally 3 minutes or 5 minutes of the second half. Took the lead late in the third quarter and pulled away in the fourth. Great effort by Wisconsin. They've had a heck of a season. They got a shot, I think, at the Rose Bowl. I don't know if they'll give that bid to them or Penn State. I think it would go to Penn State. Oregon is in the Rose Bowl for sure. They announced the New Year's Six bowls later tonight or later this afternoon. We'll see how those go in the rest of the bowls. I don't know what those are. Clemson absolutely killed Virginia. Clemson just blew through their schedule. They didn't really have any challenging opponents. You can make the argument for maybe Texas A&M. They're out of conference, but Texas A&M, they weren't that great. All their wins were against teams that were below 500, and all their losses were to top 25 teams, top 10 teams. So Clemson just didn't have any big quality wins. That's why I think it was between LSU and Ohio State. I mean, you could have made the argument for Clemson, defending champs, demolishing who they've played other than North Carolina, but LSU and Ohio State are in a different region. Oklahoma played Baylor. Oklahoma went up early. Looked like they were going to blow them out. Baylor came back. Baylor came back with a third-string quarterback, but Oklahoma won it in overtime. Very interesting game. Very defensive game, words. But, yeah, that got them into the playoff after Utah's loss. Utah got demolished by Oregon. So that pretty much locked the winner of the OU-Baylor game in, assuming Georgia would lose, and they did. So there's your playoff. But, yeah, we got some interesting storylines, as I said. Everyone's talking about Jalen Hurts is in the playoffs. Alabama isn't. Justin Fields is in the playoff. Georgia isn't. So it's interesting. We'll see what the rest of the rankings are, the New Year's Six bowls and all that stuff. But it'll be fun. We'll talk about that later, predictions and stuff. But they got it right. Good job, College Football Playoff Committee. You got it right. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe. Share. Football.